Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Transformation Time. Every Thursday, I host an episode of either Transformation Time or Behind the Scenes. My name is Diana Lizarazo, and today's guest speaker is Amy Brooke. Now, before we get started, I want to share some exciting news with you. I have a social networking platform for real estate investors, for mentors, and for professionals. So if you're in the real estate investing industry, you want to be a part of this platform. And to give you an insight on how it is, not only can you create calendar events so you can share what's going on, see what's going on for this month, but you can also check out Amy Brooks's profile. Check it out, see what her real estate strategy is, see what locations she invests in, check out everything that she has to say on her profile. All you have to do is go to realestateinvestorfam.com, fam, F-A-M.com. So realestateinvestorfam.com, create your free account there, and you can check out everyone's profile, see what they're up to, create your own profile, and start interacting with the real estate investing community. Now back to the show. On Transformation Time, our guest speakers are here to share with you their personal development journeys and the mindset shifts they've gone through to get to where they are now. So they're here to help you out with their stories so you can help find your path. And we'll also get to talk about their big goals, that 5-10 year goal, and what changes they're making right now to get to those big goals. So if you guys are ready, let's give Amy a thumbs up. Let's send her some fire. Let's send her some hearts, and let's get her on the stage.
Let's see. Lately it makes a ringing noise and that means it connects. But at the same time, sometimes it also doesn't. And I feel like this is very normal. I'm surprised that Instagram hasn't fixed this yet. I feel like this has been going on forever. While we wait for Amy to come on. Oh, we got her on. Perfect.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm good. Oh, don't you just love this technology?
I know. Usually it's like half an hour pressing that button.
Yeah, that was pretty quick. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to go that well.
Thanks so much for coming on. Let's get started. Let's share with the viewers, first of all, who are you? What's your strategy? How long have you been in? Whatever you'd like to share about your real estate journey so far.
Yeah, definitely. Well, firstly, thank you for inviting me on. This is awesome. So yeah, about me. Well, um, I'm a management accountant by trade, but we got started in real estate back in 2003 in the UK. We just had one rental property, and we had as primary that we moved houses every like 3 years, but we had this one rental for about 13 years. We moved to Canada about 13 years ago as well now, and we ended up selling that one. So didn't really go big in it, but it gave us a taste. And I never really learnt properly. I didn't really understand, like the refinance and that side of it. So I always kind of wondered, how the hell do people make money in this? Because there's not a lot of cash flow in one property, and how do I keep scaling forward? But I never really dived in and learnt about it. But we started properly in 2020. And we went quite quickly, and it was really because we'd built a big HELOC, so we had access to that money through as primary residence. So when we learned that we could use that, that's kind of what just projected us into buying quite a few properties. So we ended up buying 7 properties in the first year, which was a little bit crazy when we're both working full time. But we mainly focus on small multifamily. We've done a lot of conversions. So we've done duplex to fourplex, single family to triplex, duplex to triplex. We've done a garden suite. So we've done a lot of conversions. We've stabilized the portfolio now. We've just finished one, literally just wrapping up the refinance just now as we speak. And that was a single family to triplex. And then we've just got a flip underway. So we started to do some flips this year. And then we're also moving into commercial industrial. So we've been working on for the last over 6 months now. We've got a couple of partners that we were working on 17 acres of land that we plan to build 200,000 square foot distribution centres on. So we've just been working through that. We've had the ability to start due diligence quite early because it was a friend of our partners who was selling the land, a farmer that he knew. So we didn't really have any other competition, but we're just trying to figure out if we can make that work, if it's the right strategy. We've done a lot of the archaeological tests and everything and stuff. So that's exciting because that's kind of my husband's background in starting up distribution centres. So that was the reasoning why we wanted to go down that route as well. So yeah, so we've done a lot of different things. We do have one Airbnb as well. We do have a property manager for that because I thought that I would love having an Airbnb and I actually don't.
It's a
I
lot
found
of
it
work,
very,
right?
it's a lot of work just for one. I'm like, wow, it's a full-time job. Yeah, hats off to anybody who does that. But yeah, I realized quickly that that wasn't for me. So he manages that. That's fine. That's great. Yeah, at one point we were really looking into buying a plot of land and creating some kind of tiny homes to have a little like Airbnb kind of community, that campsite glamping kind of feel. But yeah, after that, just that one Airbnb, I'm like, yeah, that's not the route I want to go down. So,
Yeah, and
yeah,
sometimes we have to go through those kind of things to also learn what I mean, also learning it is good because you never know, sometime somewhere in the future comes an opportunity that one of your existing properties, you just have to make it an Airbnb because maybe selling it doesn't work and you need to make money from it, and at least you know, but at least it's also that you know that it's also not for you. Like, not going to be probably one of your main strategies. It's the same with me. I've never actually done Airbnb, but I just knew I'd never wanted to do that kind of level of work.
yeah.
To me, I love the whole buying the properties and the fixing, like the whole process of get acquiring the properties is a lot of fun to me. But once it's like tenanted, like I really want to make sure the tenants are amazing. I personally like love them being long term,
Mhm,
and just so I don't have to pay attention to it and it just does its thing.
mhm,
Just because I love the process of the whole acquiring and fixing it and either, flipping it or putting it into like getting tenants in there and
mhm,
keeping it. So I hear you. But it's also like that. It is good to have all those different strategies.
mhm.
And I wanted to go back to like that. You said you bought your first property, that didn't really know much about it and didn't really stick into it, and then a few years later, then you bought like 7 properties in one year. That must have been definitely very chaotic.
Yeah.
But what exactly, besides the HELOC, but what exactly made you even think to want to go full-fledged into it compared to, like you said, that first time where you kind of knew about it, but just didn't really take that initiative? What was that changing factor for you?
Um, in all honesty, I think not weirdly not having as much education actually helped us take a lot of risk. So I don't know whether I'd recommend what we did to a lot of people, being completely honest. But in fairness, we'd always done renovations. We'd done big renovations. So we moved properties every 3 years. We'd emigrated to Canada, without a property, with nothing, and kind of built his life back up here again. So we'd taken a lot of risk in that way, and we were very comfortable with dealing with contractors. So I will say that piece of it. We had that experience. But we literally got chatting with a mortgage broker that helped us refinance our primary so we could get the HELOC. And she just said, you can usually get up to 10 properties in your personal name before you start getting tapped out. So I literally took that number and I'm like, right, I'm going to get 10 properties this year. So honestly,
So
I'm
really,
like,
you're only 3 short from your goal, like 10 properties. Okay,
there
I
you
gotta
go.
go for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, there you go. We're at 8 now. So I realized that actually like 10 is not easy, especially when you like all of the ones we bought, we knew that we could value add. Like we use the burr strategy, that's kind of where we started off. But then we knew we could add units, or there were, a lot of potential down the road. And that's when we stopped purchasing and we started concentrating on just stabilizing and getting our portfolio to the best it can be. So that's what we've worked on over the last year and a half.
And I
But yeah,
also love that you just spoke about, not knowing everything and just jumping in. Because, I think that is to a certain extent, like, because it's also that you didn't know anything. Because I'm sure you still knew, like, how to run numbers. You still knew the basic things, but didn't know, like, too much of, like, what the next, like, what would happen next. But sometimes I also think is a good thing because I feel like same thing with me. I mean, me being my background engineering, I'm very numbers oriented, but not actually like I know what you mean of not actually knowing like what could happen next.
mhm.
Sometimes is better than knowing all the different scenarios and just scaring the shit out of yourself and
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
taking action.
That's so true, honestly. That's I feel as if like that first year, yeah, it was hectic, and we had like we have a little boy who's 5 now, so it was like 2.5 at the time, and he came everywhere with us. That's all
Mhm.
we did. He got used to sitting in houses while we painted. We tried to do a lot of the work ourselves initially, and realized that that's time consuming and actually not the right thing to do in a lot of cases. But yeah, we I think just not having so much information there, just we could just get straight in and be just take on a lot more risk. And me and my husband, we do like we're good with taking on risk. I always look at the worst case scenario. If I can handle the worst case scenario and everything makes sense, then let's go for it. Um, so yeah, but there was a lot that we learned on the way. But
And I think also probably because you guys both had your jobs,
mhm,
I think that also helps too. Because, for example, same thing with me. At that time, I was working and I was making quite a bit of money. That kind of like what you said. I'm like, if I have to take care of those properties on my own because something happens, I could do it. And I was just like, whatever, I'll suffer through it. I don't care if I have to do it because I was making really good money and
mhm,
my husband's making good money that it was something that like that was my last case scenario. Okay, fine, we take care of the properties ourselves, but what is it really going to be? Like 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year? I mean, we're going to be working, we're going to have that money coming in. And then fine, okay, maybe it takes that long. Let's say an eviction and it takes that long. But then also like that, like what are the chances that every single property, So it's kind of like
mhm.
you said, like I feel like having that job also gives you that comfort level to just be like, I could handle these properties, and you're just kind of like, let's figure it out, see what happens.
Exactly, yeah. And I think like we've both got good jobs, and I actually go part-time next month because I want to focus on real estate more. So that's finally happening, which I'm super excited
Congratulations,
about.
by the
Thank
way, that's
you, thank you.
exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. But yeah, I think having been able to fall back on a regular job, yeah, it's a ton more work to get. Like every weekend, we were everywhere. Like our properties are all about an hour and a half to 2 hour drive away from us. So we spent a lot of time and were exhausted some weekends, but this wasn't just a quick money making thing. We were looking at it as a long term investment as well. And so we
Mhm.
knew that, when things come up, it's like, okay, we need another new furnace. We knew that, yeah, we had our salary to back that up as well if needed, but it was an investment from it. So I always, even when I was young, I remember getting a decent job when I was younger, and we had it was when we was living in the property that we ended up renting out. So this was like back in 2004, like showing my age now. Back in 2004, and me and my husband was like, okay, we've got a better salary. Even at that time, it was like, let's not start living a better, more lavish life now. Let's stay as we are and let's learn how to invest it. So we actually tried a bit then, but I didn't know who to reach out to, and I didn't know the circle to get into then back in the UK. So we ended up saving. We actually came over to Canada because my husband's best friend lives in New Brunswick. So we came over to Canada and met a couple of realtors and had a couple of weeks in New Brunswick just looking at properties. We opened a bank account and they said, "Yeah, you can get a mortgage. We just need to see you paying into this bank account for a little while." So we saved up for a full year in a Canadian bank account because we were going to start investing in New Brunswick way back then. And then what happened was we decided at the time that we'd rent the house out that we had and we'd buy something else. So that's kind of, I forgot where I was going now with the end piece on that, but it's kind of it was always there to, you know, to kind of fall back on the salary and really, like, you know, make
So
it work.
even, yeah, before coming into Canada, was in your mind then to invest in real estate? Now, giving the viewers a little bit of insight in you guys, what would you say before getting into real estate? And because I think these things give us the confidence to get into real estate when we really don't know anything, is what are those skills that you, and if you feel like that's saying for your husband too, had that gave you that confidence that even though you didn't know anything about real estate, you still had the confidence to make that jump into real estate?
Um, I think I think from an early age, I knew I wanted to buy my first house quickly. I bought my first house when I was 19 years old. Um, and I always saw the benefit, and I don't know whether it was my mum as well saying, get on the property ladder as quick as you can, make sure you've got an investment property because that's your pension. But that was kind of her mindset of just make sure you have a primary, but then you want another one because that'll be a pension. Don't rely on the government. So she'd instilled that piece in me, but never really more than that to go further than that. And I always like my mum absolutely loves like interior design, and she's always decorating and everything. So I'd always picked up on that piece as well. So I think it's something that's kind of in you, but it doesn't have to be, you know, you can learn it. And the who, not how piece is
But it's
definitely really
also
relevant.
something that shows that if you do have children, how impactful your words are.
It
Because that
does.
is really funny. Because
Yeah.
I can tell you, same thing with my dad. He instilled a couple of things in me. One was he was always telling me since young, you know, you should start a business. You should start a service business because you don't need any upfront costs and you just like you use yourself. You know, it's like you just have couple supplies and you're manually doing things or whatever. So all the time he'd always kind of like say like, you know, you should start starting a business. And actually that business stuff, because my dad never had a business, was actually indirectly coming from my mom because my mom's side is more of the entrepreneurial side. But I kind of realized afterwards my mom wanted my dad to start a business and my dad's probably like, no. And he's like, well, I'll just get that my kids, you know, start brainwashing them into
Yeah.
it.
It's a good
But so
brainwash
it
to
was,
have, yeah.
yeah.
It really does make an impact. And it's not until now when I've got older that I reflect on that a little bit. But
Mhm.
like, but both my mum and dad did start small businesses, both of them themselves. So it was in there a little bit, but I wouldn't ever say it was ever in me. Like I've been in the corporate world all my life. Like that's what I thought my world was. I like, and even now I'm still learning about what I actually, the pieces I enjoy. And it's very difficult because I'm a bit of an all-rounder. I can make things happen, and if I see an area's not getting done, I can jump into that piece and get that done. But it actually makes it more difficult for me to have a clear direction of what exactly I'm good at and what I enjoy in this area. So that's something I'm figuring out now. But like going back to my parents, like both of them definitely instilled. My mum and dad divorced when I was quite young, but it's weird because there was both very similar people. My dad's passed away now. My mum's very healthy and alive and kicking, but they both instilled perseverance and grit in me. And
Mhm.
that's something that I'm forever grateful for. My mum was always like, pull your socks up and get on with it. Stop whining, get on with it. Come on, get
Mhm.
the work done. And she really pushed me to work hard. And she's
Mhm.
like, nothing, you'll never get anything unless you work hard at it. Like nothing's for free. You know, pull your socks up. There you go. Go for it.
Love it. And I
Yeah,
think that's, yeah, amazing advice, right? Because sometimes you need that, I would say, like tough love. Like a lot of people, I feel like, you know, a lot of kids these days are kind of not given that, like, just keep on going, just move on forward. You make a mistake, whatever, move on, keep
exactly.
on going. You know, sometimes you don't get that, and it's more of like consoling them, like, it's okay, you know, da da da. But it's just like, okay, but get over it and let's move on. You know, like did you learn from your mistake? Yes, great. Don't do it again. You know, and let's move on. Or if it happens, fine, it happens. But like, keep on learning from it. Like, you know, they say like, if you do it a third time, it's all on you. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we are so big on that. I'm trying to learn a lot about myself to be able to direct my son in the right direction. Because what I really want for him is to figure out himself and what he really enjoys at a lot earlier age than what I did, because life will be a lot easier if you can find your area of genius a lot sooner. Because I think that that's something that I definitely struggled with. And yeah, I'm excited to be on a path now that I feel like I'm starting to figure things out. But yeah, it's not like it's hard work. If you want to make a change in your life, and just the fact of me going part-time, like, this is a scary big step for me,
Yeah.
but it's been bloody hard work. And so
Mhm.
yeah, anybody that kind of comes along thinking, oh, I can just do this and it's easy, it's not. It's hard. And you've got to have grit, and you've got to make things happen, and you've got to problem solve, and you've got to find a way through things, and you keep pushing forward on these little steps every day that feel exhausting and whatever, but you keep doing that, and eventually you start seeing a lot more benefit coming your way, but it takes time.
Yeah, 100%. And actually, something that I think I've never actually asked, and I think is important because, like you said, we all go through the problems. We go through deep downers sometimes because things do get tough as an entrepreneur. What would you say is something that either that you do for yourself that when you're super stressed or, too many things going on at the same time, like what do you do for yourself to pick yourself up, fix yourself up, and be able to keep moving forward?
Yeah, great question. A few different things, and I'm still experimenting. For one, the main thing is me and my husband are very health conscious, so we eat healthy, we exercise every day. So I'm a big believer on the exercise. If ever I'm feeling really stressed, I just get on the treadmill, I do a workout, or I love walking in nature. I walk really fast, and that seems to help. Listen to a podcast or an audio book, whatever. Um, I've tried I've tried lots of different things. Like, I've done the power hour on a morning. Like, I do a little bit of yoga on a morning just for like 10 minutes to have a stretch. I've done meditating on a morning. I definitely think that helps. I don't always stick to it. I've done journaling on a morning. Don't always stick to that. Sometimes I just have to get up on a morning and just get my to-do list. I like pen and paper. Just get through my to-do list and get a few things ticked off, and then I feel better.
Mhm.
But I'm a morning person, and I know that me going part-time is going to be such a beneficial thing to me, because I can get up straight away on a morning and really focus on the things that I need to get done to push our business forward, rather than at the minute I'm ending up doing things like late at night when I'm not the kind of person, and I struggle then and I don't sleep well. So there's just little different ways of figuring out how to manage it all. The other main thing that took me a long time to kind of get to this stage, and I'm guessing for most new entrepreneurs this is the same thing, it's again coming back to that who, not how.
Mhm.
I do have a VA now, but it took me a long time to get him up to a speed so he knows me and he knows what to do. And you really have to invest the time to train somebody, but the
Yeah,
benefit,
100%.
yeah, the benefit is there in the long run, that I can just all the things now like that get me down, and it's silly things like I'm very creative, I have lots of ideas, but to kind of like fight, like like putting a reel together for whatever, like I have an idea thinking, oh, that'd be really funny, like if I could just find a clip doing that. I cannot be bothered to search through and put it together and find a clip, so I just send him a note saying I've got this idea, and he's starting to know now how to take my idea in my mind and try and pull something together. So
Mhm.
it's things like that. But yeah, that's something that I'm still working on, and I will continue to work on, because like having a team and learning how to manage a team, and ensure that people feel part of your team as well, like the
Mhm.
leadership
And having that
aspect.
patience. So basically, you're saying having
Yeah.
the patience to train them and stick on it because I feel like that's the biggest problem I see that people have. They'll come on like that. Usually, the first step is getting that VA to help kind of remove the tasks from you, and they'll barely last with them a month to like 3 months, and then they're getting rid of them because it's like they didn't put the time and training
Mhm.
into them and they think like, oh, but they're just a VA for real estate, so they should know everything. But it's like they don't know you. So that's
Exactly. Yeah.
amazing that you do that because luckily in my previous work, I learned how to do that because I had to do a lot of hiring or learning how to find the right people for the right roles and things like that. So for me, I think I just was realizing I think I've had mine over 3 years, the same one, because I just knew how to pick it, had already experienced from the past. And obviously for people that are new and never maybe hired and never had to think about that, it takes time,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like just having that persistence and thinking about it. And I also wanted to say something else that you said, if I can remember, that I wanted to reiterate. Oh, yeah, that was that you tried so many different things to figure out what worked for you to be the best version of yourself because you're getting to know yourself. And I just wanted to reiterate that because I think that is very important because a lot of people think like, oh, I have to do journaling, I have to do the exercising, I have to do this is like 20 things. And it's like, no, no, no. It's like you have to, like, you try everything out. And obviously, maybe not at the same time because that's a little chaotic. But you try all these different things out, and sooner or later you start figuring out like what is the one thing that works for you. Because not all the things will work. Or like kind of what you were saying is I feel like it's the same thing. Kind of you go through phases where it's like, oh, I really need to do like a lot of gratitude these days or something,
Yeah.
and you just start getting into gratitude, and then all of a sudden it stops after a while, but it's just like you just felt like you needed to, and then all of a sudden like that, like you're like, you know what, I just need to really put pen to paper and just get that done.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to quickly give Rise Investments a little shout out. He's saying Amy's the house in the house. Awesome, good to see you on. Yes, I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to reiterate that because I think that is so impactful and so important for people because like that basically you're saying when you're finding yourself, it is important to experiment and even give it enough time so you figure out if it is something for you that you want or really isn't. Because sometimes also the one or two or three times you think it's not, you're giving it a little more time to really see is it something you want in your life, or maybe like that, like you may fit it in certain phases in your life but maybe not a consistent, and other things that are completely consistent.
Yeah.
So I
And
wanted
and
to.
I'd add to that as well. I think what I found is like you start on this journey, and I didn't realize, there was such a big like network out there, I guess, when we started of people doing real estate. And I love the community. It's probably quite small, really, in comparison to the world. But
Mhm.
the one thing that is really difficult, and I think I'm assuming that everybody goes through this cycle, is you really start comparing yourself to everybody, and
Yeah.
you've got to give yourself, like for me, as long as I've got perseverance and grit, and I know I've got a desire of what I want, and I know where I'm going, then I've learned that I got to stop comparing myself to anybody. It doesn't always work to,
Mhm.
somebody, like, it drives me mad, everybody telling me that I have to get up at 5 in the morning. I'm like, I have a 5-year-old boy that's been kicking me all night. I'm going to sleep in while 6:30 today. And do you know what? It's going to be okay. And I'm going to get up, and I'm not going to put myself under a guilt trip because I'm still going to get done what I need to get done. And that is okay. And do you know what? I'm going to watch 2 hours of TV tonight because I need to relax. And there's things that, I can still watch Netflix, and I don't like, people think that, okay, to get anywhere, you have to be full on, like, working all the time, and it's this like non-stop. And it's like, no, like, burnout is real, and you have to enjoy life and be in the present and just look after yourself as well. That
Mhm.
is probably the most important piece. But I think putting that first, but just having the desire as one to make something happen and the grit to make it happen is, the key driver behind it. So
Mhm.
you just gotta be a bit kinder to yourself as well. And I like, on your point on trying to figure things out, I'll give an example at the minute now, because our old property manager's just pinged me, and it's just kind of reminded me on this. But the triplex that we've just finished now, I, for the first time, so we have our own property management company and we do the property management ourselves. But because we work full time, we've always outsourced actually placing tenants, because that's something we've not had time to do. On this one, I decided I'm going to place the tenants, and I'm going to learn that because I'm going to do this going forward. Another thing, like the Airbnb, I've learned, oh my God, I do not like doing this. This is like, hats off to people who do this. This is exhausting. It is so much effort answering people. And I'm sure there's a lot of, better ways I could be doing things. I'm not sure, but I like the fact that I can get a sense of who people are myself. But do I need that? I could probably get a sense of people once they've sent the application form in, and then I can jump in and get a sense of people. So going forward, that is something that we will be back to outsourcing again. So yeah, all these things that you have to go through and to think,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
But
like
it's
that.
like you said, it's a great learning experience to actually know if it's something worth your time or
Yeah.
not. Because it is everything's a learning process, and it's like figuring out what just works for your lifestyle, what works for you, and what you even enjoy doing. Because some things, like I said, it's just is not enjoyable, and are you, if anything, harming your own business because you're doing it but not enjoying it or making you miserable.
Mhm.
So I wanted to
Yeah.
get to, now that we've spoken to the things in the past, what you've done in the past. Now I want to ask you, and if you'd love to share that big goal, but on top of that big goal, that 5, 10 year goal that you have for yourself and your family, what changes are you making right now to achieve that big goal?
Well, the first one is taking the leap of going part time. That's one piece. I'm very lucky that my company's really supportive, and they knew that I was in. They know about my side hustle, which is a bit too big of a side hustle now, but they knew about it from the beginning. So they've been really supportive. So I do work from home most of the time. I have to travel a little bit, so it's kind of a nice setup that I've got there. So that's the first big leap I'm taking. Um, our goal for the future is we want to be able to travel and be able to work from anywhere. Mainly, really, we want to be in the UK a lot more, closer to family. We do go back like a few times a year. And we'd also like to be in Spain. We absolutely love Spain. So we'd like to have something there as well. So we'd like to travel and, travel around Canada and the US as well a lot, but a lot more around Europe. I'm not quite sure how that looks yet because, like I said, we've got a 5-year-old and we do love the little community we live in, and he's got a great school and everything. So I've got some thinking to do on what that looks like. I've not fully got that vision yet. But my desire is, I know that I want to do something bigger, and I don't know what that is. And going back to the team piece, so I've led big teams before, and I actually enjoy being a leader of people and a coach and kind of having that team, but more when you're working on something together. So that's kind of a direction I know I want to go in. The commercial industrial is something that really excites me because the piece that I found, and going through all these different pieces, you've got to kind of think about, like, to the people out there, you've got to think about what tasks do I just naturally pick up and do? And it just comes naturally to me to do. I don't have to, I'm not procrastinating on it. I just do it. And for me, anything to do with kind of bringing people together, the facilitating, the communicating with the contractor. If somebody says to me, "We've got an issue with this," like we're just dealing with an issue with this roof on the flip that we've just bought, I can sort stuff out and figure it out, find out the best way forward, and I can do that so quickly. So I actually really enjoy what I've discovered. I enjoy the development side. So I've enjoyed the land development piece and going through that. I enjoy dealing with the town. The designers, permits, all that kind of thing. So going down the development route is definitely something that we want to do. And the commercial side, because of my husband having that background, and I have a bit of that background as well, that's kind of where we're excited about to learn in and dive more about that. Not saying that we'll not do other things in real estate, because overall I enjoy real estate. Overall, I enjoy change as well. So as long as I'm in real estate, I enjoy learning and doing different things. I might not be one of those people that find that I just fully focus in one area and build a $1 billion empire in one area, because I like change a little bit, but that's fine. Whatever.
And I think that is the
Yeah,
entrepreneur mentality, actually,
yeah,
is that once you kind of gain experience in one area, it's just like I know it like the back of my hand, and you're like, what's new? What's next? What's
exactly.
exciting? So I think you're right. I think that's because even I know lots of people, including myself, where it's just like, okay, I got this. This is easy now to me. Like, what can keep me what's going to keep me interested, what's going to keep me curious, what's going to keep me excited.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm loving, like, I love these chats and I love relationship building and chatting with people. And that's another thing I'm really looking forward to with being part-time, that I can literally have a day of back-to-back Zoom calls and I am quite an extrovert and I do get energy from other people and I get inspired by that. And so, that's something that I'm looking forward to as well. I can easily be an introvert as well. I do need my downtime, but I'm excited about chatting with a lot more people. And so, yeah, I'm excited about the future. And, and being completely honest, there's nothing wrong with wanting material things as well. Like, I want us to be able to fly business class whenever we want back to the UK. That's one thing that's on our list, because I've had the luxury of experiencing it a couple of times with my work. So now I'm like hooked. So, um, so just little things like that drive you. But whatever. Like we,
But those are good things like that. You need things that will drive you and push you, and they can come from all different areas. You don't even realize, like you're even saying, you're doing your vacation or going see family, like everything. There's always these things, and just know. I think that certainty of knowing what you like and then going through with it, or just making that your driver, makes it so much easier to be successful because you have those goals in mind and you're booking and planning, like you said, okay, I want to go business class, but now it's like it's in the budget, I'm putting it in
yeah,
the budget.
and you
And
can
then so it's like
visualize
now you
it.
know what your yearly budgets are, and you're just like, well, I want this, so it's
Yeah.
happening.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing now. We've got a lot of points on as American Express card, and I'm like, okay, shall I convert these to Aeroplan, and how can this work, and how can I make this happen? Because it's funny when you've got that desire and you need something to visualize, because I think that's when it
100%.
starts becoming reality. And I'm a big believer in vision boards, just because most people are visual learners, and it's like that daydream that just starts eventually becoming a reality because you get hooked on it, and so you look for ways to make it happen. Um,
100%. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Amy, thank you so much. It was so much fun to chat with you. If you guys love what you heard, definitely follow her, see what she's up to, see what her projects are. Feel free to DM her. And like I told you, if you want to even learn more about her, you can go and check out her profile on Refam. There you can actually get even to know more about what her real estate strategies are, where she invests, or anything that she's shared. And if you love what you heard from me, and you love my shows and you want to stay connected with me, then definitely follow me too. Amy, thank you so much. It was so much fun to chat
Thank
with
you.
you.
Yeah, it's really nice chatting with you. It's always nice chatting with you whenever we see you. So
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. It's always so much fun. Amy, have a good rest of your day, everyone. We'll
Thanks.
see you all in the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.